Hello, everyone. Welcome to 0 to 0, a pointless football podcast for fans and non-fans alike. Where we pick someone who knows some football, that would be me, Fixxxer, against someone who knows nothing about football and has been on vacation for how many weeks now?
Oh, it's like a month I've been on vacation, and then I had peak for 2 more months, so it's been 3 months of me being MIA. But I'm back now. I'm back, baby, back.
Yep. All the previous recordings with Tulkas were falsified.
Yeah, something like that. Last week I was in the District of Columbia. Look at me. And Diesel suggested that I go to the National Air and Space Museum when I was in the District of Columbia. Fixxxer, can you identify why that is impossible?
Where did you say it was?
The National Air and Space Museum at the Smithsonian.
Because it's not at the Smithsonian?
No, because of the government shutdown.
Oh, that stinks.
Didn't think of that, did you, Diesel, man, beast?
Yeah, Diesel,
machine.
God.
Gah. You every week, Diesel, I find you more and more aggravating.
Well, speaking of aggravating, let's talk about how we did last week. Maybe aggravating for you, but me, I was 4-0, Tulkas. I had a perfect score.
And I was also 4-0.
No, you were 2-2.
I think I was 4-0.
And Diesel was also 2-2.
Me being 4-0 is an alternative fact. I learned that when I was in DC. It was an alternative fact.
Was it now?
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. All right. Well, how about we talk some football? There's only 2 games on the agenda, so this is going to be a short episode, which means that the next episode, which is in a couple weeks, will be even shorter, I would say.
What about the Northman?
What about the Northman?
Will he be coming from the north?
Who, Modi?
Yeah, the Northman.
Probably not, because we do this at times that he's not available.
I'm now that I'm free-ish, I could do it at a time he's available.
Well, maybe we'll do Super Bowl with Modi then.
Giddy up.
All right, let's talk some football. The conference championships are happening this Sunday. We're recording this on Saturday, by the way, so this is tomorrow. Both games are tomorrow. First one, 3:05 p.m. Eastern, the Los Angeles Rams at the New Orleans Saints. So, the Rams took care of the Cowboys 30-22 last week, I'm sure much to Diesel's sadness.
No.
Poor Diesel.
It's what you get, little punk.
I said that Todd Gurley was key. If he can have a good day, then the Rams are set. He had 115 yards rushing and a touchdown. What no one expected is that C.J. Anderson, his counterpart, had 123 yards of his own along with 2 touchdowns. Goff wasn't exceptional, but he didn't have to be that day. The key to beating this team is shutting down Gurley. And the Saints, they beat the Eagles 20-14 last week. Michael Thomas had 171 yards and a touchdown and established himself as a top 5 wide receiver. Again, the key here is Gurley, I feel. The Saints, they had one of the best rush defenses in the league, and they'll most definitely focus Gurley. Their secondary played poor most of the year, but last week they showed up. Lattimore had a couple interceptions. They played quite well. So Jared Goff is going to want to get the ball to Cooks and see if they can get that defense honest instead of focusing on Gurley. I'm not sure they're going to be able to. Aaron Donald may be one of the best, if not the best player in the league, but this rush defense doesn't play to its potential. The Rams need to find a way to get Donald in Breeze's face as often as possible. He probably will be able to, but it won't be enough, I don't think. I've been bearish on the Rams for half a season, and I don't think I'm going to change here. I'm going with the Saints.
So the Saints have fought the Rams before, and in that episode I talked about how Saint Giles is the patron saint of sheep, or rams, or whatever, and he does a bunch of stuff down in Spain. Saint Giles is also the patron saint of Edinburgh, and he has a cathedral there in the cafeteria of which Maroka purchased for me a brownie. And another factor to consider is Age of Empires 2, The Age of Kings, Conqueror's Expansion, Gold Edition, Rise of the Rajas, The Forgotten, and African Kingdom. And in that game, the monks, the saints, have the ability to convert enemy units by going Wololo. However, sheep are converted by having enemy units near them. Therefore, the sheep will be doubly converted by St. Giles with the brownies, and the brownies show the power of love and friendship and joy. And also, Tulkas the Movie Part 3 was uploaded last week on Moroka's channel, so go check that out for some sick hashtag Team Baby Tees action. And yeah, I predict the New Orleans Saints will have the victory.
Wow, you're calling all the way back to Age of Empires 2. Holy cow.
Yeah, good game. Not as good as Age of Mythology, but pretty good.
Better than Age of Mythology.
No!
Age of Mythology ruined RTSs.
Well, Age of Mythology has a better story.
No, don't get me wrong. I really liked Age of Mythology. It was the heroes. I hate hero-based RTSs.
How can you hate Arcantos? He's my boy. He's Arcantos and Ajax and Chiron and Amanra and Reagan Leaf. All my little buddies. You can't do that.
So you're saying by the end of this game there aren't going to be any Rams left? They'll all be wearing Saints uniforms?
I don't know what you said, but I'm going to assume it was accurate.
It was 100% accurate. Okay, lovely. Moving on to game number 2, 6:40 p.m. Sunday evening. New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Patriots, they beat the Chargers 41-28 in convincing fashion. It was a bigger beating than the score kind of lets on, I think. Brady had a typical Brady game, and Sony Michel had 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. Most impressively, they allowed just 19 yards rushing on defense. They'll need dominance against the Chiefs team that has actually improved their rushing output ever since releasing Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs, they beat the Colts 31-13 last week, having 4 rushing touchdowns by 4 different players and destroying the Colts in time of possession 40 minutes to 20 minutes. One cause for alarm is that they were just 4 of 14 on third downs, and you're going to need to do better than that against the Patriots. Gilmore had a stellar year for the Patriots, and it'll be fun to see him match up against Tyreek Hill. This is actually a rematch as the Pats beat the Chiefs earlier this year in a shootout, 43-40. But that was a different time, and really both teams are much better now. The Patriots are underdogs this time around, and they seem to be embracing it. I think we're in for another shootout. Gilmore, he may neutralize Hill, but you still got Watkins and Kelsey out there, and I'm not sure New England's going to have an answer to those guys. Brady should be able to pick apart the secondary, but Michelle will have a hard time against this defensive line, I think. Anyways, this is in Kansas City, which is one of the 3 hardest stadiums in the league to play in. So I think that if Mahomes can keep the mistakes to a minimum, the Chiefs are going to win.
What makes these stadiums so hard?
So the 3 hardest stadiums in the league are Kansas City, Minnesota, and Seattle. And what makes them so hard is how loud the crowd is.
Oh, that's interesting.
Denver's pretty difficult too because of the elevation.
Interesting.
Yes, because the ball will fly differently in Denver, and teams who are not used to playing in Denver can run out of stamina towards the end of the game because of the light air.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was over the Appalachians a couple times last week, and it was pretty cray.
Oh, were you flying? Could you breathe the air?
No, I was driving.
Oh, lovely.
Remember, we had the whole conversation about the ticket that I actually paid $180. Go me. But I drove over the Appalachians, and then I drove to Virginia, and then I went over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and then over the other Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and then to DC, and then home, and it was fun.
Sounds like a blast.
And then yesterday I was in Wisconsin, but we don't need to talk about that. So I'm really sad that the Colts lost.
Yep. The home team is done. They are out. They've been eliminated.
Would you like to, do you have any words of wisdom to console me in this tragic time?
Yes. It's very possible that they will pick up a good running back in this offseason, and I think they'll come back as a better team next year.
Do you have any words of wisdom to console Diesel?
No, because the Cowboys, they fired their offensive coordinator, Scott Linehan, I think it was yesterday, That's a step in the right direction, I think. The problem is I'm not so sure Jason Garrett, who is the head coach, is the right man for the job. They seem to be stuck in, I don't want to say mediocrity, because they're not. They do tend to make the playoffs. But I feel like Jason Garrett's just not getting them over the hump to go deep into the playoffs. And while they do have talent on the team, I think the coach is holding them back. And they're not going to get rid of the coach. So I don't have any optimism for Diesel.
That's good. I'm better than Diesel. I always knew that was the case. So, also, I think I forgot to address this last week, but with regards to the final 12 stanzas of the Raven, I believe I am correct in assuming that you will not allow me to say them on the podcast.
All 12 stanzas?
Yeah.
How about this? You can say one today, and the rest at the end of the next episode.
Oh, really? Okay, I was going to do them on my own channel, but okay, I can do that today. I don't actually remember which one I was doing, though.
Oh, you were ill-prepared.
Well, I was, like, convinced. I was like, Fixxxer, he's, like, all grumpy. He's not going to let me say it on the podcast. He's hateful. But no. Okay, so what's this one? How about this? Okay. Much I marveled, this ungainly fowl, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. And maybe like you and Modi can each say some stanzas too. That'd be fun. Anyway, so the Royal Proclamation of 1763 forbade settlers from settling west of the Appalachians. This was done so that because the British government, number one, didn't want the natives, didn't want the colonists riling up, trouble with the Native Americans. Number two, so that the Great Britain could better maintain control over the colonies instead of worrying about, policing the far west frontier. However, even with the British Empire on their side, the largest empire ever to exist on the face of the earth, the Native Americans still could not resist the power of manifest destiny as the evil colonists went to do their evil doings. And now, how, if they cannot do that in the Appalachians, if even Tecumseh, my boy, can fail, how can the Kansas City Chiefs, even in their little difficult stadium out there in the plains, how can they resist the power of manifest destiny? Manifest destiny may be evil, but it is still our destiny, and it will happen.
I have absolutely no idea who you just picked.
Patriots.
Okay. After all that, Patriots. Lovely. All right, well, I guess we got some time before the next episode. After this week, they usually take a week off before the Super Bowl. What day is the Super Bowl? Do you even know?
Why would I know what day the Super Bowl is, Fixxxer?
I don't know. I don't know what day the Super Bowl is.
Stupid question.
It's a fantastic question.
Hey, Fixxxer, do you have any interesting anecdotes about, how you got your driver's license?
February 3rd. So it's not just an extra week, it's an extra 2 weeks. So we'll probably record this around January 31st or something like that for the next one. Okay. So what's this about anecdotes?
Well, do you have an anecdote for, how you learned to drive? I feel like that's the sort of thing that you probably have, a cool anecdote, how you got your driver's license, your first time behind the wheel, stuff like that.
When I took driver's ed in high school, it was during the summer. It was in between school. So it was during the summer vacation, and they split the class in half, and I don't remember how many people were in class, 50 or so. And one half went to drive on the first day, where the other half went to the books, and you alternated days. So I went from driving book, and they put me behind the wheel within 10 minutes of starting driver's ed, and I didn't have a whole lot of practice at that point. It was probably dangerous, and I could have killed somebody.
Okay, so that's fun. I think that was a worthwhile anecdote, don't you?
It was lovely. Everybody's lives are better for it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I took driver's ed, we just like went around in a circle in the parking lot for an hour because I was too scared to leave. It was great, going at like 5 miles an hour for an hour. It was my trainer was less than thrilled, but that's okay. So, do you have anything else you would like to add, Southie?
Within 10 minutes of getting behind the wheel, I was on a 5-lane highway that does 50 miles per hour.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We left the parking lot.
That's the Texas way. Okay. Do you have anything
This
else
wasn't
to
in
add?
Texas. This is when
It wasn't Texas.
It wasn't Texas. Michigan.
You are a liar. You are a liar, Fixxxer TV. You have lived your entire life in Texas. You have never left the state of Texas. That little weird plus-shaped, cross-shaped state is your life. It's your livelihood. It's your being. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I will see you in like 2 weeks. I don't even know. I don't even care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.